everybody, I'm Susan and this is my channel, and this is an installment of Adventures in Busdom. I was thinking this week about a couple of experiences that I had when I was growing up traveling with my parents in the 74 Westphalia that we owned. My father was in the military, and so every 2 years we moved from coast to coast, and we took the opportunity during those moves to travel across country to visit relatives in Kansas and in New Mexico mostly. And one particular memory that I have was kind of scary as a little girl. If you've ever driven a bus in really windy weather, it is not an easy thing to do. They're not very aerodynamic. But I do remember that Dad used to stow a lot of our luggage on the luggage rack that's above the cab. And I've never personally done this. And maybe this story is one of the reasons why. But, there was always 4 of us traveling in the bus, and my sister were always in the back. So I believe we did try to utilize that space to stow things while we were on the road. And so we were driving along on what I remember to be this really big highway, but everything seems big when you're a little kid. And just at one moment, we heard just a bit loud banging noises and realized that some of the luggage had come loose in that compartment. And because of the wind and, of course, driving on the highway, it flew off. And so we pulled over fairly quickly. I don't think we got too far away from it. And both my parents had to jump out of the bus while my sister and I waited and walk back a little ways to go along the side of the road and then cross over into the median to pick up the luggage that we'd lost. So I think that's one of the reasons I've never used it, although I have looked into some bags that are designed specifically to fit into that spot and tie down and zip down. And I'm interested in getting one of those to keep lawn chairs and tent awnings and things like that kind of can be stowed out of the way and not so much carried around, even though when I'm traveling by myself, of course, there's a lot of room in the back. But anyway, I just remember that being kind of a scary situation as a little kid, and having Dad have to walk out into the middle of the highway to pick up luggage and bring it back and tie it back down. And another memory that I was thinking about, which is kind of silly and funny, my mom and I still kind of laugh about it, was a trip that we made particularly through Yellowstone Park. And we had come to the end of a day. We'd pulled into a campsite, had eaten dinner and cooked and cleaned and all of that type of stuff. And it was time for bed. And so we popped the top, and my sister and I shared the area up on the top, and Mom and Dad slept down below. And about halfway through the night, we heard this knock on the bus, and my dad, answered, "Hello, how can I help you?" And it was a park ranger that was telling us that because we were camped in a high-risk bear area, we had to close the top of the bus. And we kind of were all thinking, well, where is myself and my sister going to sleep? This is where we are at. If we close it, we don't have a second bed. And he said, if any bear came into the area and smelled food or anything like that, the chance that they could rip through the canvas and, we'd get injured or whatever. So we had to close the top. And so my sister and I climbed down and we closed the top, and then Mom and Dad and my sister and I kind of looked at each other like, where are we all going to sleep? The bed down below is barely a full-size bed width. And so we laugh about it today because I don't know how many hours we had left. I have no memory of what time it was at night, that it was 6 hours or it was 2 hours, that we had to endure sleeping in a little puzzle pieces, the 4 of us, on that bottom bunk before we got up and packed it up and pulled out of there onto the next destination. But we laugh about whenever one person rolled over, we all we all had to roll over together so that, we were all fitting on that little bed down below. But today I pop the top and use all of that upper space as storage for, my suitcases and my guitar case and all that kind of stuff. So a lot more room as I travel today than back then. But I remember the high risk bear area. We'll never forget that. So those are just a few other memories that I have of traveling in what we termed the orange pumpkin, which was my dad's CB handle back in the day, traveling in the 70s. So have a great day, everybody. More memories to come.